Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Talking Games with Kellie and Andrew.
I'm Kellie. I'm Kellie. Me and Andrew are synced up.
Kellie just, she just said inappropriate things before we started recording, and they're like not even worth repeating. They weren't funny. Sorry, Kellie.
I didn't say it. I didn't say anything, actually.
It's on recording. I could roll it back if you want me to.
Right.
I won't though. I'll keep it from the explicit tag.
Right.
One of these days we're just gonna go explicit. I feel like episode 150. This show's not for kiddies anymore.
Yeah. I swear a lot in real life.
Is it challenging not to on here?
No, not really. Because I don't swear at work, so it's like I kind of already have to.
So this is work for you.
Yeah. So where's my paycheck?
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
I was going to say, I'll work on getting you that
I'm joking.
That paycheck.
You do more work for this podcast than I do.
That's not fair.
Well.
This show's an exactly 50-50 trade. If you went away, the show would literally not exist.
Right.
Therefore, 50-50.
But, all right. Let's not get into it in front of the listeners.
In front of the kids. I will turn this car around. Well, the kids are not doing anything wrong. They're just listening to us fight.
Right.
I like the idea that that's a really funny idea. So this podcast is now a road trip, and it's me and Kellie in the front seat just talking to each other. We turn the radio off, and the kids are just in the back seat. And you listeners are all the children in the back seat, and you just have to listen to us talk as your entertainment.
They're not listening to us. They're watching their TikToks, and they're playing their Subway Surfers, and they're watching their Family Guy funny moments.
They don't have their phones. I put their phones in the center console before we depart.
Wow, you're kind of a tyrant.
Yeah.
Of this minivan.
But we do have one of those like DVD.
Oh yeah,
things.
yeah. They're watching Finding Nemo or something.
Yeah. Did you have one of those?
No.
Your car didn't have one of those?
My
your parents' car?
Always drove sedans. I mean, my dad drove a truck for a while, but we were a sedan household, and sedans don't typically have those. So
it's wild to me that the car that I had growing up did have that, because like I had that since like I don't really even remember when. I was real little. But the funny thing was the little like center console had AV input.
Oh.
So you could plug in something and use it on the little TV.
You could plug in your GameCube, your silver
Yeah.
and or purple GameCube, and play Super Monkey Ball.
The problem being that
there's no electricity.
Power, yeah. So, but one summer or something, when I lived in North Carolina, we were driving back to Pennsylvania for a camping trip, and my dad was like, all right, this is a really long trip. Like, it's 9 hours or whatever in the car, which for a child is like a decade. Like, now as an adult, I'm like, ugh, 9 hours, that's kind of long. As a kid, you're like, this is my life.
Yeah.
For the next what feels like 7 years, I'm going to be in this car.
Yes.
So he let us bring the PlayStation 2. I think part of the logic was like nobody was in the passenger seat, so he could just put the PS2 there, and he bought like a converter thing.
Wow.
So we played, me and my brother in the back seat. We played a lot of Ratchet Deadlocked,
wow,
the fourth Ratchet and Clank game. We probably played other stuff, but that's the only one. I think he played some like FIFA or something.
FIFA.
Madden. I'm sorry, EAFC.
FIFA.
It's not called. I can't dead name it.
Do you want to hear an interesting issue that's happening in our household regarding not a Madden, an EA Sports game right now?
Yeah, I know which one it is because I see the PlayStation, because I'm a creep, and every time you log in, I'm like, ooh, what's Kellie playing? And I'm like, ugh, it's Reed.
There's a man in this house. There's a man in this house, and he's playing NCAA college football.
Yeah. EA
Sports. And it keeps shutting off the PS5. And we're like, what's going on? And he thought maybe it was like overheating the PS5, which is what I think is happening. But I played Elden Ring for like 5 hours, 6 hours straight on Saturday, and it did not shut down once. And it does not shut down when we're watching TV.
Shut down.
It doesn't shut down when we're watching movies. It's only that game. And I looked.
My PS5 has literally never shut down.
Once. I know. That's why I was like, it has to be the game, because this has never happened. This PS5 is not that. It's like 3 years old, not even. So I don't see how this could be happening. So I looked it up, and the NCAA football game subreddit, someone had posted a thread, and they were like, why does my PS5 keep shutting off with this game? It's like, that's just crazy.
That's like a concerning glitch. Like, I feel like that could do damage to the internals.
I know.
Like, every time your PS5 shuts off with, like anytime the power goes out, so it turns off while it's in rest mode, when I turn it back on, it always goes beep, beep, beep.
And it's mad at you, and it's like, next time you need to turn us off, okay? You can't just, like, unplug us, okay?
And I'm like, do you think I have ever in my life deliberately unplugged a rest-moded console?
They do.
No.
They do.
The only time that happens is when the power surges or when my little Roomba grabs the little power cord while it's vacuuming, unbeknownst to me, and yanks the PlayStation down to the ground.
Wow.
But that doesn't happen. But that's a one-time mistake, though.
Your Roomba is on the warpath.
I got home and there was a Roomba hanging out, stuck, because it ate a cord, and the PlayStation 5 laying on its side, like, please help.
Your PlayStation needed life alert.
Genuinely. And I'm like, it's such like a weird thing. I'm like, how did you pull it out? Like, how did you, because it's such a big shape. I'm like, how did you yank this the way you did? And I still will never know, because I just run the Roomba when I'm not home.
Right.
So if you have a Roomba and your TV's set in a really stupid way where the wires are exposed because you pulled the television really close to your large chair and have it in the middle of the room instead of having it in a normal place like a normal person, be careful with your Roombas. That's probably just me. Like, literally just me.
In your defense, I believe the PS5 is very weird shape. And I know you can lay it flat.
Yeah.
But it's like...
I didn't.
Yeah, and I don't either. But it's like the balance of it is like kind of precarious.
Do you not use the balance board thing?
No, you do, but it's still like... I feel like it's still wobbly.
Yeah, well, it shouldn't wobble. You might want to have it look at your PlayStation 5. NCAA might have made your PlayStation wobbly.
I'm telling you, it's not wobbly. I'm saying that if the Roomba was to take the cord, it would fall and plummet to the earth.
Yeah.
And if it was on its side, it would also fall and plummet to the earth, but it maybe would, the distribution of impact maybe would not be as intense as if it fell from sitting up vertically.
Yeah. Although, to be fair to it, the PlayStation 5 is like 2 inches off the ground. Like it's on the bottom shelf of the TV stand, which makes it like literally an inch or 2 off the ground. So it's not like it took a big tumble and it fell on the carpet. So it was totally fine. Worse things have happened to that PlayStation, I'm sure. Like have you ever taken the faceplates off your PS5?
No.
Ugh, you feel like you're like assaulting it. You have to like yank it.
I kicked your PS5 though when I was over at your house the last time.
I said I've never assaulted it more than that.
Yes, I kicked it and then I punched it and then I spit on it.
Okay, that I didn't like that one. I feel like you can kick my PS5 and you can punch my PS5, but the idea that your saliva I didn't notice, so it just dried up on the PS5. I think this podcast might be in jeopardy right now.
Right.
Anyway, we should probably go onto the news instead of just talking about Kelly harassing my video game consoles.
Yeah, we were like having fun talking, and now we have to get into news that isn't fun.
Why are you talking like this is your job? Oh, you could, because the news is bad. I was so defensive.
Yeah, why are you trying to fight? What's going on?
Because earlier you said this is your job. You said this is like a job.
Oh. No.
So I thought you were being like, ugh, let's get into the news.
No.
Let's do the part of this podcast I don't like.
No, I'm saying news as in the news isn't good. It would be different if it was happy news.
The news is not good. I was going to make a joke about some recent world news, but I wouldn't even know where to start on that one.
Let's not touch that with a 10-foot.
No, I'm not touching that. I mean, I have to wait till like next week to announce my campaign, but
let's not
crap.
Fall out of the coconut tree.
Can I cut that out?
Yes.
Can you cut that out?
Can I cut that out?
Can you cut that out, Kelly? I can't announce that I'm running until like July 28th.
I heard yes.
Okay. We'll just jump back in.
You stay up there in your coconut tree. And you stay out of context, okay?
Okay, I need help from you though because I'm gonna be cut right back in.
Right.
But it'd be awkward if it was just like mid sentence. So can you you'll laugh because what I said before that was so funny. So
Was it?
and then
I don't think I'd laugh that hard.
Well, okay. So
how about
do
I
you
exhale out of my nose?
Okay, so give me one hearty exhale out of your nose.
Okay, ready?
And then I'll go into the news, and I'll just cut starting with the nose exhale. So let's wait. We'll take a pause though first, so it's easier. Oh, you okay? Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
So we'll take a pause,
Okay.
and then we'll cut, and then I'll cut right back in after this.
Okay, I'm pausing right now. I'm paused. I'm still pausing.
Anyway, back to the news. Did you just get snot on your microphone?
What happens to my microphone is between me and my microphone.
We'll cut back in right now. Piranha Bytes, the studio behind Elex. Is that how you say it? I don't know. I don't know why I asked Kelly. Elex? Elex? E-L-E-X and E-L-E-X 2. The studio's been around since 1997. They're German-based. They were owned by THQ Nordic, and they were acquired by Papa Embracer. And now, sadly, it is our duty to report to you that they have been shut down by Embracer. Not surprising. Yet another loss at the hands of Embracer, but feels like every couple weeks we have something that we have to say. We have to let you know something Embracer did wrong.
Yeah, it's a bummer. It really feels like Embracer's like the Grim Reaper, like the meme where the Grim Reaper's like knocking on the door. Mm-hmm. That's Embracer at this point.
We just don't know who's next.
Yeah,
but and now it feels worse now, I think, because of those studios that kind of escaped the Embracer umbrella, like all that stuff with like Saber Interactive and the Borderlands people, Gearbox. I feel like the fact that some people escaped makes the fact that some people are getting axed feel worse, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because it's like, please just let them go. Please just like write them off as a loss and make them indie or something instead of just shutting them down and getting rid of it.
Yeah. It's not great.
I haven't played these games, but they clearly had an audience if they were able to make a sequel to the first one. So
yeah, we'll just have to hope that all the people on the dev team were able to find and are able to find new situations for themselves,
mm-hmm.
where they are free from the clutches of Embracer's deathly grasp.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have a news story that might be less dire, but maybe not as fun. I think
it's kind of fun.
Have you ever opened up your phone and really had a hankering to play Resident Evil 7 on your phone?
No.
No?
The thought of playing a high fidelity first person game on my phone sounds like not good. It doesn't sound good, Kelly.
Well, you would be in good company because only less than 2,000 people have played this game on their iOS because Capcom decided that they wanted to release this game on iOS, Resident Evil 7, on July 12th. And less than 2,000 people have played it, which is not shocking.
It's not good.
It's not good.
Do you know how much money that is? I have the number. $28,140.
That is less than my student loan payment.
That's not a lot of money. That's like and the funny part is like as an individual, like, it's like, oh, that's a life-changing amount of money. But as a very big corporation that definitely paid more than that to port it to iOS, that's not good. And yes. I think it's a little bit deserved. Not deserved, but like in this article, there's literally a screenshot of what the on-screen UI looks like if you play without a controller. And it makes a lot of sense because it's not pleasant to look at.
Yeah, I'm always amazed at ports of games on iOS that people can like successfully play them. I feel this way about the Dead by Daylight mobile game too. Even though it's sort of a different animal than Dead by Daylight, it's not necessarily a port. It's like a whole thing of its own. It's still like the UI, you're playing with your fingers. Your fingers are on the screen. You can barely see anything. It's like just play it in a different way. Like this is not the ideal way to play this game or to like absorb this story. Like I don't quite understand the desire to port games to iOS. I really don't.
I don't know if it's just unhinged to say, but I feel like you'd be better off not playing it than playing it this way.
I agree. You're
And
wasting
also,
your time if you're playing it like this. It's going to be a lot harder. And it's going to be harder on your eyes. Unless you're playing on a big old iPad. In which case, you might as well play it on a console.
That's the thing for me, though. Like, Resident Evil 7 is not like a casual game. I feel like most people who want to play Resident Evil 7 or Resident Evil 4, they have access to it. They have a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One at least. The odds that these people don't have those consoles are so slim. Which, I don't know. It's not hypothetical. Less than 2,000 people paid for it. Which there's like a free trial version. I don't know how many people downloaded the free trial, to be fair. But of the people who got that free trial, only 2,000 people carried through.
Yeah.
And that's not a good sign.
Yeah.
Because that's so few people. Like an indie game that sold 2,000 copies would probably be like, wow, we got a very cool little install base. But like, I don't even think a small indie team couldn't even sustain themselves on 2,000 sales.
Yeah.
Let alone a Capcom game. And I know this isn't the first time they, made it, but still.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's also so big. This would take up it's 25 gigs on iOS, which impressive compression job, but still, that's a lot of your phone.
Yeah.
So, also that $28,000, this is funny. That $28,140 does not include the 30% cut that Apple takes.
Oh.
So, it's actually even less than that. It's less than $20,000 made.
Oof.
That's not good.
No.
Well, I'm sure all of those iOS ports of like Assassin's Creed and Death Stranding are doing really, really well.
Right.
Let's keep the tragedy train rolling over here, though.
Oh.
Paramount Plus has announced that they are canceling Halo after 2 seasons.
No!
Yeah, I know this is disappointing, but Kelly, this might not be the end for you because Master Chief is looking for a new house.
He can live
He's on
here
the
with
market.
me.
That's strange. You gonna fund Halo Season 3?
No, I'm talking about Master Chief the man.
Like Pablo Schreiber? Or Master Chief, like the OG one?
Yeah.
Well, they're looking for a new home, is what they've said. It's been canceled, but they're looking for a new distributor. This is straight up going to be mean, so I'm going to just say it anyway. I feel like Paramount Plus is not the top tier distributor to begin with. So if you like get canceled by one distributor, you have to go lower for the next option, like a lesser streaming platform.
What would be lower than Paramount Plus?
Yahoo.
Freevee?
Well,
Tubi?
I don't think Tubi doesn't fund things, right? Isn't that kind of the point of Tubi is that they...
I actually don't know how Freevee or Tubi works.
Tubi is basically YouTube. Like anybody could put a movie on there with just like a few hoops. It's a couple extra hoops than YouTube, but like it's basically YouTube. Anybody can put it there.
And Freevee's like TV, right?
I think Freevee is run by somebody, yeah, because they made that jury duty show.
Right. But you have to watch commercials.
Right, but I saw it on Amazon Prime before Amazon Prime had commercials. Oh, it's run by Prime. They own Freevee.
That makes sense.
So there's probably some situation involved.
They have a situationship like me and Master Chief.
It used to be IMDb TV. So that's a pretty low bar. I mean, I love Jury Duty, but
that's a great show. Jury Duty's a great show.
But I think that might be the exception, not the rule of Freevee.
Yeah, you're
so maybe
right.
Halo would be great there.
Sure, yeah. I don't know if they have the
budget
budget to support Halo like that, but
well, some shows do better with budget cuts.
Yeah, we just need more
Halo
Ford spots. What's it called? Product placement. We just need more Ford product placement in the Halo series, and then maybe we can put it on Freevee.
Yeah, we're on it.
Don't worry, you guys.
I also said that thing about like budget cuts being good for shows, but I feel like there's only one. The only show I've ever seen that got better with a budget cut was Space Force on Netflix, which I thought season 1 was terrible. And then everybody thought it was terrible. Nobody watched it. And then they gave it a second season anyway, and it had like a fraction of the budget. And I thought it was a substantially better show. Not that this is a TV podcast, I should say. But I don't think that would suit Halo, because Halo is not a workplace comedy. It is a drama space show.
That's true. That is true.
Pretty immense loss for the industry, I'd say, to lose Halo season 3.
Yeah.
Everybody talked about how season 2 was going to be better, and then when it came out, I heard nothing. Like, I'm like, did anybody at all watch it? Probably not.
Yeah, I guess based on this information, no.
Sad.
Yeah. It is what it is. They can't all be bangers.
No.
Here's a banger for you. You like that transition?
You see, if when you ask, it cancels out.
Sorry, you're right.
Yeah, just repeat it. I'll cut out.
Here's a banger. Here's a banger for you. Bethesda has officially unionized. So that's Bethesda Game Studios. It's the first Microsoft dev to do this. And they're fully unionizing under the Communication Workers of America. So these are devs, artists, designers, programmers, engineers, the whole kit and caboodle. So, yeah.
I hope this is a trend and not an exception. But I do know that, because right now there's been like the 3 Bethesda umbrella unionizations were the Bethesda Game Works or Bethesda Game Studios Montreal. They unionized, but obviously Montreal is a different place. It's not the United States. And then the quality assurance people at ZeniMax unionized, but that's also technically a separate division. I do think that it's very good that just straight up developers are doing this. I hope it shields them from unnecessary layoffs and such, because that's my biggest concern with the video game industry at the moment, is that kind of laying off at the peak of profit. It feels greedy and gross, and Microsoft has been partaking in that a whole lot. So hopefully this protects those individuals. I'm happy for them.
Yeah.
It's also not easy to do that.
Yeah.
And to do it under Microsoft. I'm sure that's a frightening thing to what's the word? Kickstart, essentially.
Yeah. I think it sets a precedent that a studio as big as Bethesda is sort of taking this step, and hopefully this can become a trend.
You and I should unionize next.
We should.
I don't know who would unionize against.
I was gonna say, I don't know
each other.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, we would have to come up with our own unions.
So I'll start my union, which is anti-Kelly union, and you'll start the anti-Andrew union.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, I think that could work.
I agree, and I think we got to get this popping.
Kelly, have you been watching Evo?
No.
Evo happened?
No.
Good one. Evo happened recently. That's the biggest fighting game tournament in the world. And by extension, a bunch of fighting game news came out of it. Instead of half of the show being fighting game news, I decided to smush it down.
Just smush it on down.
Smush it down and
smush it down like the peanut butter and jelly sitting in your lunchbox.
What?
You heard me.
Why do you squish your peanut butter and jelly?
I don't. It gets squished.
Oh.
I have no control over the squishing.
What's squishing it? The apple?
The apple?
I didn't hesitate. I think it was just a little internet thing. And now you're making fun of me for it.
The apple? No, I just thought it was like a fun way to say apple.
Sure.
I thought you were referencing Charlie XCX, who sings a song called Apple.
I don't know who that is. So it'd be really difficult for me to reference her.
Yes. What's the news from Evo, Andrew?
Oh, there's a whole bunch
Let's
of it.
unsmush it real quick.
Let's unsmush the news. Tekken 8 has announced one of the newest characters coming is Heihachi, who, if you don't know a lot about Tekken, he's the guy with big pointy hair, mustache. Well, I should say the one that it comes off both sides of his head.
Oh, okay.
You know, he has like a V-shaped head.
Yeah.
So he's like the Tekken character. He was like the front, the icon for so long, but he's dead in the story. But now he's not. Because he's in Tekken 8, so he mustn't be dead.
So true.
So that's the first announcement we got. We also got our first look at the Street Fighter 6 DLC character. That is Terry from Fatal Fury. If that doesn't mean much to you, that's a character from SNK, who's another major fighting game studio. This is a pretty exciting crossover. I don't love how he looks. I just think he's normally such a little cutie. He's always buff. But they made him really beefy in this trailer. In this game. I don't know how I feel about the beefiness. I'm sure Kelly likes it because I know what Kelly enjoys.
He's corn-fed. That's all. He's a corn-fed Midwest boy, so.
He looks kind of Midwestern. With that face when he smiles and holds his hat in the air.
Yeah, his face looks kind of weird.
His face looks a little weird. I think it's just
Terry is coming. Autumn 2024.
Yeah, and that was the other thing. Autumn 2024. That means that the other two SNK characters that we got announced a while ago are coming later, but we at least have Terry. And Guilty Gear Strive, they're adding a bunch of characters, but I don't know enough to contribute to this conversation. However, there's one character that I do know, and I think Kelly, wait, do you know?
Are you talking about Lucy?
Cyberpunk Edge Runners. Lucy, main character from that show, is going to be getting added to the Cyberpunk's what she's from. Getting added to Guilty Gear Strive, which is a very popular anime fighting game. I, as somebody who dabbles in Guilty Gear Strive and really did love Cyberpunk Edge Runners, I think this is a very, very cool thing to do. I'm a little disappointed we didn't get to see her in motion, because I would like to have seen what she's going to play like, but we'll get to see that when she comes out next year. Did you watch Edge Runners?
No.
That's crazy.
I know.
It's never too late.
I know. I'm sorry.
They also announced that Samurai Jack is coming to Multiverses, but I didn't put that in the sheet because you and I, big Multiverses people, right?
Yeah, my favorite game. I went to Evo to get in the Multiverses tournament, and I lost.
Did Evo have one? I'm finding out if Evo had one. Multiverses. No.
Oh.
Doesn't appear that there was a main stage. It might have been there a little bit, but there was not their main stage. Anyway, and then SNK versus Capcom SVC Chaos, which is a arcade game from about 20 years ago, is coming to modern platforms. Oh, wait. No, it's not. It already's there.
Oh.
Everything but Xbox for some reason. It's on PC, it's on Switch, it's on PlayStation, and it's available now. This is another one of those locked in the... How would you describe it? Locked in the vault kind of games, similar to Marvel versus Capcom 2. It's kind of crazy that there's two of these that happened in such a short span. This one's a little lower stakes since it's just one game and not a collection of games, but it's available now on those platforms for $20. So if you're interested, it's pretty much a straightforward port. The only additions being that of rollback netcode online, so you can play the game and enjoy it properly, as well as some like behind the scenes kind of stuff. There's like hitbox viewers and stuff, which is, I think, a pretty cool addition. I assume this is kind of a prerequisite to some future dealings. I think that we'll probably see more games like this in the future from Capcom or I guess SNK could make it as well. They're both fighting game developers. Either one of them could develop it. I know there was an SNK versus Capcom in the past that was developed. I don't remember who developed which, so I'd be curious to see in the future. And then also, last bit of news, we got an interview with Capcom producer of Street Fighter 6, Shuhei Matsumoto, who is very important in the Capcom fighting game development sector. He said that it is their dream to make more Marvel crossover games. So I don't think that Marvel vs. Capcom is dead. It sounds like it's not necessarily an active development from those words. I don't think that they would say this if they were in the middle of making one. I think they're probably just kind of saying that they want to in the near future. But if that's a series you care a lot about, it sounds like there's probably more coming down the pipe if Capcom has anything to say about it. That was EVO. There was more to it. If you're a big fighting game fan, I would encourage you to go read all the news. But if you're a big fighting game fan, you probably know all of it because you were probably watching EVO live. I'm afraid I didn't catch any because watching fighting games live makes me stressed out.
Yeah.
I saw one clip from Street Fighter Third Strike, which is moment 23?
Is that when you the batter is out?
What?
Third strike? Your third strike?
Oh, you're funny. Moment 37. Have you ever seen Moment 37?
No. The words that you're saying to me, it's like a different language right now.
I'll send it to you later. Moment 37 is a clip from EVO many years ago where essentially Chun-Li in Street Fighter dashes over and does like a kick. And if you do absolutely incredibly perfect inputs, you can block every hit, but they come at that speed that I just said. Mm-hmm. So you have to be like incredibly frame perfect. And this one player blocked all of them, and the footage of the event of people just like gradually getting like louder and louder as it happens, and then just screaming at the top of their lungs by the end. It is like a heart swelling kind of clip to watch. I very highly recommend, if you've not seen it, just go to YouTube and look up Moment 37. It'll be right there. It's like a minute or two. Something not that level. It's not going to be Moment 38 or anything. I don't understand internet terminology, so I don't know where Moment 37 came from, but that's just what it is. But somebody did some absolutely crazy dodging and stuff in that game. That same one that like, it's like you shouldn't be able to do that. Like the absolutely inhuman perfection required is insane. And that got me excited. That's why I like EVO happening, because I get to see like those little snippets. So anyway, that's all I got. Moment 37. That's my. If you have a takeaway, if there's homework for this episode, just go watch Moment 37 on YouTube. It's such like you don't have to know anything about fighting games. In fact, I think not knowing almost makes it more exciting because you're just like, whoa, what's going on?
Right.
Like me when I watch a football and I'm like, whoa.
Go do your freaking homework.
That's your homework for the week. We've never given homework.
Well, there's
Kids
always
in the back seat are getting homework today. And good luck, because I got your phones in the center console.
Yeah, what a tough drive we're having. Hey.
Hi.
How's it going?
About to be worse.
It's about to be worse. Xbox has announced that Game Pass is going up in price starting in September, and they also have a new tier, which you will not get day one releases, so you cannot play it day one with Game Pass, which is unfortunate. So the PC Game Pass is $10 now. It would be going to $12. I swear I paid $15 for it, but maybe I'm wrong. I'm probably wrong.
Maybe you had Ultimate.
Oh yeah, maybe. Game Pass annual is going. Core annual is going from $60 to $75. That is a yearly payment.
Because that one's just the online. You don't get any.
Yes.
You get like a couple games. But.
Game Pass Ultimate is going from $17 to $20. These are all US dollars, by the way.
Yeah.
Because I know we have listeners worldwide. And the new, without day one games, will be $15 a month. The new version, which is new Game Pass Standard, which was what it was before, but you used to be able to play it day one on Game Pass. Sorry.
It's so... the branding here is intense.
It's It's kind of funny because it's like PlayStation has all these different tiers and everybody's like, well, Game Pass is really straightforward. And it's like, well,
Game Pass is now Game Pass now has more.
Yeah, Game Pass is actually worse now and more confusing. So much so that the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, said that this is product degradation, and that is an official claim filed by them. So, not great. Not great for Microsoft, but, not much you or I can do about it,
Well, there's something I can do.
Which is what?
If you go to cdkeys.com and you buy 3 months of Game Pass Ultimate, it's like $30-ish, which is already cheaper because it's like 48 or 50 for a 3-month subscription card at like a store, and you can stack that. So if you want to beat the system, you could just buy a bunch of it, and it's expensive on the front end. I think I'm set till March of 25.
Is
so
that
I think
legal? Is that legal?
I mean, yeah, you just stack them. Or do you mean CD keys?
Yeah.
They just buy it from other countries where it's cheaper, but it works here, and then they sell it to you for a tiny upcharge.
That sounds sus.
I mean, it is sus, but
Sounds
that's
sussy.
how I've been getting. That's how I've been getting Game Pass for like.
For the sake of the podcast, what Andrew is saying and claiming that he does is not something that he actually does. Wink.
No, I do it.
No.
I'm not. This is nothing
Wink.
illegal. Okay, we can wink.
Right. Nothing illegal is going on. Wink.
It's literally. I'm gonna
Wink.
cry. Stop winking.
Wink.
You don't have to say wink if you wink.
Well, no one else can see it. You're the only person who can see it.
Yeah, but you're winking at me. You're not
Wink.
winking at the audience, are you?
I'm winking at them. Wink.
Oh. Can you just say it and stop doing it so I at least
Wink.
don't have to look at it? Okay,
Wink.
that's better. Anyway, you just blinked. I highly recommend if you have Game Pass and you want to stack up, do it before September because that will not work out in September. I'm sure it will still be cheaper on CD keys, but it won't be quite as easy, quite as cheap. So I have mine till March of 25. I'll probably before September buy like another. I might buy it like 2 years. I know it's expensive, but I know I'm gonna want it. It's way, way cheaper that way. I get day one releases. I'm gonna be honest. If Game Pass didn't have the day one releases, I would not get my money's worth.
Yeah.
Because like I saved $70 on Persona 5. Sorry, Persona 3 Reload. I'm gonna save $70 on what's it called? Metaphor Refantasio. I got to play Hellblade, which was $50 for free. I tried Little Big City.
What? What did you just say?
I tried Little Kitty Big City.
Wow.
That was a mess, wasn't it? But it ends up being worth it for me. And like that DLC for Persona 5 3. I'm sorry. The DLC for Persona 3 is included on Game Pass, and that's $35, which, holy crap. I saw that the other day, and I never realized it was $35.
Wait,
for
it
that
is
expansion.
included on Game Pass? I thought it wasn't.
It's on Game Pass Ultimate.
Oh my god.
You have PC Game Pass. So you have to pay.
I probably wasn't gonna
Play it.
play it.
Yeah. But it saves me money. I don't regret having it. And like there are months where I don't touch it. I'm not going to lie about that. But because I buy them in bulk, it's way simpler for me. And I think it ends up being cheaper than just like, because I know some people will cancel and like restart every time there's a big game. That sounds like a pain in the tuchus for me. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I can understand that if it's like you don't really play any other game. I don't know. I guess
If
I
it's once or
can't
twice a
understand
year,
that.
maybe.
Yeah.
But for me, it would be like every 2 months.
Yeah.
Like I probably play a new game every 2 months.
I know. I'm trying to think of like the new games that have come out the past couple of years that like I would get Game Pass for if I didn't already have
Starfield,
it.
right?
But it's like most of them that I'm thinking of weren't on Game Pass anyway. So except for Persona
Starfield.
and Starfield and Fartfield, which I'm really glad I had Game Pass for Fartfield because it was a big old fart. It was
Well,
a
that's
big
the
old
thing
wet
is
fart.
like playing things on Game Pass is like a relief. I hated Hellblade,
It was a
and I
big
didn't
stinky.
have to pay for it.
It was a big stinky wet fart.
Yeah, I thought maybe if I talked, you wouldn't go back to the fart talk. Thought maybe I could move along, and you would, just kind of get the message that fart talk was not on my agenda.
I need validation.
No.
Please. Just
No.
say that me saying Fartfield and then calling it a big stinky wet fart was funny.
It was hilarious.
Thank you. I thought so too.
I know you thought so because you asked me to tell you that.
Oh, so you didn't mean it.
I don't. The thing for me is like I still do think it's technically a good deal. If you play, let's do a quick calculation. $20 a month. If you pay the monthly fee and you don't get any discount, you don't use CD keys or anything, 240, 140, 200. You have to play 4 new releases a year for it to be worth it. So it is difficult now because what are the odds you're going to play 4 day one releases on Game Pass?
Yeah, I think it depends on the year too. It's like this year I don't, you know.
I mean, for me, this year's great because like Persona 3 and Metaphor paid for it. Oh, they already paid for it.
But that's 2.
Yeah, but they already paid for it.
Right.
That's why I'm very highly suggesting going on and doing that, doing the CD keys thing because
Wink.
I paid 100. Yeah, and then wink at CD keys. Thank them for doing this legal service. That's a little weird, but it's legal.
Well,
anyway.
You said it, not me.
I literally am saying it. You're saying it like I have shame.
Wink.
I'm advertising for them right now.
Wink.
We are sponsored without being sponsored.
No.
They're not paying us.
No.
Well, they shouldn't pay us
Not
because
me.
then they'd have to do it through the drug cartels because they're so illegal.
Not me. They're not paying me. I'm not a shill.
It's because I don't give you the paychecks. No, but I paid $120 for a year.
Right.
Persona 3 Reload was $70.
Right.
I mean, realistically, it's $105 because I was gonna get the DLC. And
That
then
game
Metaphor.
should not have been $70. Okay, sorry.
I don't think any game. Well, never mind. I'm not getting into that. That's too deep a discussion to get into right now.
Right.
But I do think that I'm getting my money's worth because Metaphor and Persona, even if I don't count that DLC, that's $140. And I am doing a lot of other small things. And like
Right.
Kunitsugami, the new Capcom Tactics game, came out Friday. I haven't had a chance to play it yet, but I'm very much planning to. And it came out day one on Game Pass.
Right. It's definitely it's like a case by case basis. Like for
Right.
you, it's definitely worth it. For me, I'm not as sure.
Yeah, and well, yours is cheaper,
Yeah.
so that's the perk. And I honestly would suggest to you, if it's something you want to maintain, getting that ultimate stack. And it's a lot of money up front, but it means that you won't lose all of the day one releases, which PC is going to keep getting those. But it also means that you would get that like Persona DLC, because I think if you paid for a year right now, it would still be cheaper than your new monthly rate. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like on CD keys. Again, not sponsored. Also, Google it because the other day I checked and there was some other website that was like $4 cheaper that does the exact same thing. So that's what? 4 times 4, $16 cheaper for a year. So
That's $16 that I could use to buy a coffee
I was going to say 1 Starbucks drink.
and a croissant.
And one croissant.
A chocolate croissant.
Oh, that sounds so good right now.
I know.
We need to stop doing the show at dinner time. I don't know how else we would do it because it's like that's the only time it makes sense for us to do it, but we should let's just not talk about food. Anyway, I do think that it's still a fine deal. I guess I didn't realize Game Pass was $17 a month for Ultimate. That's, to be frank, I don't think I knew that.
No, well, now you know.
Yeah, because I pay like I don't pay that, so
Right.
I got to get on this though. It's usually I usually do it at like Black Friday because sometimes like Target does a really good sale in like 3 months, and I'm sure that'll still happen. So that's if you're gonna stock up, do it on Black Friday. That's what I do with PlayStation as well because PlayStation's like 25% off or something. But it is way too confusing now. There are 4 tiers: PC Game Pass Core, Game Pass Ultimate, and Game Pass Standard. And do you know what this means? And this is the biggest tragedy for you specifically, Kelly.
What does this mean for me specifically?
When we watch Xbox shows as a team, we will no longer see play it day one with Game Pass. You just clanked that mic so many times.
I know, sorry. I've been struck.
Because you're bumping the desk, and then you're bumping the mic with your head.
I've been struck by despair. If despair was a
say
weapon, I would have been pierced with it.
It still might say play it day one with Game Pass Ultimate, but that doesn't have the same ring, does it? They can't tell what you're doing. You have to explain what that sound was. Okay. Kelly, you know what you remind me of? Okay.
What?
You remind me of a man with a paper bag on his head.
Uh-huh. Any expansion on that? Anything you want to...
No, I think we could probably call it an episode.
All right.
No. So Nintendo tweeted a very weird video a couple weeks ago that was just a man in a very unsettling room with weird music, and it said, "Who is Emio?" And the man had a paper bag over his head with a smile drawn on it, and it was very strange, and it was a Nintendo game, and everybody was like, is Nintendo making a horror game? What are they teasing? This is so strange. Time has passed, and we now know it is not a horror game. It is a horror-themed game in a sense, but do you remember when they remade Famicom Detective Club, those visual novels from 30 years ago?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They're making a new one 30 years later, and it's called Emio, the Smiling Man. Emio being Japanese for the Smiling Man.
Right.
And this is so it is Emio dash the Smiling Man : Famicom Detective Club. I think the biggest surprise is that this is coming out August 29th. 9? The panic. I was trying to find. I knew it was 20 something.
Apple.
Did I sound as panicked as I felt?
You did. You were like 9, 29.
August 29th will be the release of Emio the Smiling Man Famicom Detective Club. I hear the argument. I know people have been arguing that this game would not get any attention if it was not published by Nintendo, because it does. Well, first of all, because the reveal is just kind of a man sitting on a blank background being like, man, I'm so passionate about this for 3 minutes. And then they show like 7 seconds of gameplay in this 3-minute trailer. People are right. If this just came out and it was not by Nintendo, nobody would be talking about it at all. But I'm interested, and I'll give Nintendo. I'm a shill. Nintendo announces this weird thing, and I'm like, weird. And I'm a little disappointed it wasn't a horror game, because the teaser was freaky. It was really unsettling, and this does not look freaky. I mean, it looks interesting, and maybe there's some horror elements, and it is rated M. So Nintendo is publishing an M-rated game here.
Spooky.
I don't know. I guess I'll just keep my eye on this one.
Keep an eye on it because your other eye's too busy winking.
Stop. Why are you bringing back the wink?
Andrew, what did you play this week?
It had nothing to do with winking.
Well, wink.
Oh my god. Kelly, last week I promised I was going to start a new Souls game, and I did 2 things. I started a new Souls game. I guess I did 3 things. I started a new Souls game. I quit a new Souls game, and then I started a different new Souls game.
Which one did you very first start with, and then you quit?
I booted back up Demon Souls on PS5, the remake, which is a game I played when I was a little tyke, and I couldn't play it because I was a tyke, and it was hard to play. And then I played it when it came out to PS5 because I had nothing to play because PS5 launched with nothing. And I got about halfway through it, and then I dropped it because I was like, this is annoying. But I figure, I got that new Elden Ring knowledge because I played that game without any real FromSoft prowess. So I decided I was going to go back to it. I had to mute the microphone so I could belch. I got through the first boss, which is a super easy breeze. And then I got to the second boss, and I quit.
What?
That's kind of the end of the story. It's the Tower Knight.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was a crazy long run back. It takes like a minute and change to get back to the boss. And then you walk into the boss room and you have to kill like 8 archers who are just like, they're not difficult enemies. They're just annoying. And you have to get rid of them so you can fight the boss. And then fighting the boss is just whacking him in the feet for a long time until he falls over.
That's what my cat sees when she wakes up in the morning.
She's attacking your feet till you fall over?
Yes.
Has she succeeded yet? Or is this just like one long FromSoft boss that she's been trying for years now?
She's been trying for a really long time. She needs to level up her Estus flask.
She refuses, though.
Wait, what is it? Estus in Demon Souls, or is it something else?
No, it's grass.
Oh, okay.
It's like half moon grass and late moon grass, but it's also expendable, which I think is a huge, major problem, and I hate it. Yeah. So I decided that because I hated it so much, and I hate expendable health items, the best solution was to go to the only other FromSoft game that has expendable health items, Bloodborne. I'm playing this with a friend, so I've been playing it slowly, but when I played Bloodborne for the first time, which would have been, 2016? Well, when I played it first, it was probably like 2016 or 17. I had a little bit of a rough time, and then I got to the first boss. Well, technically you don't have to fight this boss. I found that out now. The Cleric Beast, big old bridge demon, who I did not realize was optional when I played it for the very first time. I got to him, and I tried for a very long time, and I just kept running out of health items, and then you have to grind to get more health items, and I said, no, not for me, sir. No, thank you. I don't know. I had a very different voice back then. I've gotten out of that accent, but back then I had one. Because I just didn't have a grasp on the system, so I was just taking so much damage and having to heal constantly, and I was never able to overcome the Cleric Beast, which now in retrospect I'm like, that's kind of sad. So I went back and got to the Cleric Beast again this run. It definitely was not nice to me, but I was able to beat it, no problem. I think my biggest problem, without a doubt, is still the expendable items. I think that the parry system with the bullets is very cool. I think the fact that they are expendable is extremely dumb. I think you should just have X number per life. And when you die, you just get like, oh, you have 7 bullets or something. And every time you die, you get back your 7 bullets, but you only have those 7. I think that would be a better system, in my opinion. Same thing goes for the health potions. You can have up to 20 on your person at a time, that's a lot. But if you run out, you're out. You have to go get more. And I do think that is just quite simply not fun. It is just, and I know there's like discussions of like, oh, well, it demands that you like be smart and that you conserve and that you don't use too many health items and you focus on being aggressive, because if you get hit, you can whack the enemies quickly to get your health back. I do think that's a really cool system. I wish it was just like, in my brain, it would be more interesting than limited health items would be like, it still refreshes, but it's a really low number. Like maybe you only have 5 health potions total, or like 3. But you had them every fight. You didn't have to go and grind for them if you overused them on a fight. Because like last night when I was playing, I was on the 3rd boss. So I beat the Cleric Beast. Felt very good to finally overcome that thing I couldn't do.
It was like
Okay,
right?
I'm going to do an impression. You ready?
Yeah.
I'm going to put a pillow between me and it because it's real loud.
Okay,
you ready?
Yeah.
Hang on. I'm moving the microphone far away.
He's
I'm
moving the
put this pillow
microphone.
over the
You guys might not be able to see. Okay, pillow's in front of the mic.
Really quiet. Can you even hear me now?
You're pretty muffled. That was really good. Whoa, that sounded just like Cleric Beast. That was crazy.
Was it too loud?
No, that was fine.
The pillow is a good idea?
Yeah, I think the pillow worked.
Okay. Anyway. Sorry, I just really like doing the Cleric Beast impression.
It's kind of like a verbal tick.
The Cleric Beast impression?
The worst kind of verbal tick you could ever have.
I'm just at work and I'm just like, I'm not going to do it again. But anyway, I beat the Cleric Beast. I beat Father Gascoigne, who took me a good few tries.
Gascoigne?
I don't know. I kept calling him Father Gangrene.
I always just call him Father Gascoigne.
Gascoigne! I was calling him different things every attempt.
I like him.
Gascoigne.
That's a good fight.
Papa Gazzy.
Papa Gazzy. Ooh, I like Papa Gazzy.
And then I got to I guess I technically fought like a mini boss. There was like a hunter that had like a big turret. Mm-hmm. I got to him, and then I just walked up onto the top of the building and I shot him 3 times, and then he fell off the building.
Yes.
And I was like, well, that was fun.
Jura?
And then I got to the...
Is that his name? Jura?
I don't know. He fell off a building. I couldn't ask.
That's true. Don't you
He
get
didn't have a health bar.
Never mind.
I don't know. He fell off a building, Kelly.
Never mind.
I didn't see his attack patterns. He fell off a building.
No, I mean, never mind. I'm just saying sometimes when you kill a hunter in Bloodborne, you get their stuff.
I wouldn't know because he fell off the building.
But sometimes you get it when they die, not when they
off their body. Because I killed another hunter and, well, to be clear, there was another hunter and I was like, I don't feel strong enough to fight this. I'm just going to walk by. And then I was on a ladder, just going down this ladder, and then he just passed me going very quickly and died when he hit the ground. And I was like, yeah, I did that on purpose.
He was determined.
It's hilarious. And then I fought the I don't know what's he called. He got like the flappy, fleshy.
Blood-starved beast.
He looks like a
Yes, the blood-starved beast. Yes.
Did you know what I just said?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, it was just a piece of anatomy that I don't feel like I should say without the explicit tag on.
Well,
I was about to mute the mic and say it, but then I realized you wouldn't hear it then.
yeah. I mean, its back
gross.
is flayed open.
Yeah, but it looks like something else.
Right, it's flappy. That's
so.
Right.
It was going really well, and it was going so well. I got like 3. What are they called? Staggers.
Parries.
I got
Counters?
3 parries in right at the start. Yeah, I got 3 parries in. I was like, this is going great. And then I was just like, bop, 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 and it was like really close. It was probably like at 20% health. And I had like used a good number of health potions because it was going so smoothly. I was like, I don't feel bad wasting these resources because it's going well. I even used a couple Molotov cocktails, which are like really limited at this point in the game. And then he teleported into a pillar.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like clipped in there and just kind of wobbling around. And I'm like, oh, what do I do? And I was like, this is not normal. So I just like stood there and I was like, okay, I'm going to take a breath and figure out what I should do because I don't want to mess this up because it was going so well. And then he teleported out of the pillar and to on top of me and killed me in an instant.
Oh.
And I was very, very cross with the game and I turned it off. I was like, no.
Yeah,
nope,
that's
absolutely not.
That's not right.
And I very rapidly switched back to the other game I played this past week. That is the game I promised the audience I would play, Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance. Again, if you do not know, Shin Megami Tensei 5 came out in 2021 on Nintendo Switch. It is a turn-based RPG from a classic franchise. SMT has been around since the 80s. You might know it better as the Persona people. Persona actually used to be an SMT game, but then Persona got way bigger than SMT, so they stopped calling it that. But if you've played any Persona or even seen it, you'll be very familiar with a lot of the elements. They use the same kind of weakness system. A lot of the demons from Persona 5 are the same demons that you see in this game. I guess they're shadows in Persona 5, but the demons in this game, you have seen their designs before, a lot of them. This Vengeance version, though, that came out this year, a couple weeks ago, on everything, not just Switch, came out on every platform, is an updated version. It includes a lot of quality of life improvements. If you're playing it on other platforms, it has way higher frame rate and resolution. If you're on Switch, it's still going to be that 30 FPS, whatever the frame rate or whatever the resolution. It looks great on Switch. Like the first one was really good, but this one, playing it on PS5, is quite the leap compared. And then they added a bunch of new stuff, so like new demons, new challenges. All of the DLC from the original game is now just included. Sadly, there is also some day one DLC, but it's very easy to ignore that. There's also a new auto battle system that speeds things along a lot. If you want to be grinding through, there's an auto skill option, so it's not just whacking. It picks skills by default that the enemies are weak to, so you can get through battles in like a couple seconds. Sometimes it feels great because a lot of the enemies are, there's not strategy involved. It's kind of just the strategy is conserving your resources, conserving your MP, making sure you don't overdo things. But the biggest new addition is the Path of Vengeance. So there are two options right when you start the game. You can play the original game or the new Vengeance version of the game. So if you have not played the game and you pick it up, you can play the original game, but with these new quality of life features, which I think is really cool. It doesn't just replace it. It's not like Persona 5 Royal. This is almost like a reimagining of the story. So the Vengeance mode still kind of follows a lot of the same structure, so they can reuse gameplay like maps and stuff, but the story goes basically its own direction. It's basically just a different story, which I think is honestly more interesting than something like Persona 5 Royal. As someone who, obviously I adore Persona 5 Royal. We talked about it like every day last year. But I think that this is a more interesting route to kind of give you an alternative. It makes it way more intriguing to revisit because that was my thing. I'm like, I don't know if it's been long enough that I want to revisit it. But because of those new quality of life features and because it's an entirely new narrative, it is well worth revisiting. That being said, the narrative is bad. It's not good. It's not a bit. It's not very good.
Oh.
The narrative in the first game was not good, though. This is not like they ruined it. It's just, I didn't like the story of the original game, and I don't like the story of Vengeance very much. It's a little better, but it's still not great. But story is kind of not the appeal here. This is not Persona. This is a gameplay-focused creature. You are there for the turn-based combat. The open zone exploration feels awesome again. There's so many cool things, side quests, demons, the fusion system. When you pick up 2 demons, it's kind of like Pokemon. You can talk to these demons and convince them to join you, and then you can take them to fuse them in the demon fusion system. And the demons, unlike Persona, they're your party members. So it's you and then 3 demons. So you're constantly cycling through an entire party. Your party's not going to stay the same the whole game, which I think adds a lot of interesting depth as you move through and kind of decide what you want to do. SMT has a history of being difficult, but this one is not really. There are definitely challenging moments, but it's not really going to beat you up. It's more just like enjoy the game, and then there's going to be a few battles that stop you and make you think strategically. But also, if you're not looking to have a challenge, there's an easy mode. There's even a downloadable DLC mode called Safety Mode. It's free DLC, but Safety Mode makes it so you're just there for the story, which don't do that. I'd recommend playing on normal. I think you unlock hard after. Or no, you have hard right at the start. I think you unlock like a crazy difficult mode at the end after beating it. But if you really, really like turn-based combat and you have maybe even played one of these before, you're probably hard mode is not going to be a bad thing for you, but I personally recommend normal. I think it's a perfect level of challenge. It feels good to slow down at certain points and have to think about the battles, but not have to stop every single battle and consider every single encounter, because there's hundreds of encounters through the game. But I'm really loving it. The things that they've added are really cool. The visuals are so sharp. The character design is so cool. The main character with the long flowing blue hair never gets old. Music is incredible. Of course, it's Shin Megami Tensei. Any Atlas game is going to have good music. I have not quite finished it. I'm mad at myself, which is ridiculous because this is like a 40-hour game. But like I was a little bit into it last week and I was like, I'm going to finish it before the podcast. That would have taken a lot of hours.
Well, you did your best.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of did. I could have like canceled all of my obligations and social things.
That's
because I
true.
played Bloodborne with a friend, and then I also played more Final Fantasy 13-2 with a friend. So like,
yeah, it's kind of your fault. Flop.
But like I said, my plan. The thing with this every other week structure at the moment means that I don't feel bad doing this. My plan is to finish this game, which will not take very long. I would estimate I probably have 5 hours left. I think I'm about 35 hours in, and I'm definitely at the final chunk. And I've done I've done a lot of the side content. Definitely not most. There's a lot in there. If you did all the side content, I would be surprised if this took you like less than 60 hours.
Wow.
So it's definitely a meaty game. And also, technically, if you picked up Vengeance and you never played the original and you wanted to play both versions, you probably got a 100-hour thing here because you play through the original and then play through Vengeance. So there's a lot of game to be held. That's for sure.
It kind of seemed more like a vegetable-y game to me.
What did I say that made you say that?
That it was a meaty game.
Oh. See, I don't remember saying that, so when you said that, I was like, I don't understand the joke.
Should I say
Jokes
it again?
are really funny when they need explained.
Should I say it again? Because you...
Yeah, I'll cut it out. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. It kind of seemed more like a vegetable-y game to me. Wink.
Why are you winking again? I recommend this game to basically everybody who has an interest in turn-based combat, though. It is a really, really, really sharp turn-based game. It is a great JRPG. Obviously, the story being not incredible is a little bit disappointing. I think if this game had a perfect story, it would be a perfect package. But there's also not a lot in there. It is I'm 35 hours in, and I'm just going to take a rough guess that only about 5 hours has been story, maybe even less. It is mostly just playing the game. You're not spending a lot of time in cutscenes. You're not spending a lot of time in talkie segments, if you will. It is mostly about the gameplay thrust. So, I recommend this game. 10 out of 1.
10 out of 1?
Yeah.
I don't know how to absorb that statement.
It's pretty good. Anyway, like I was saying, with the new structure of the show, I feel less bad promising things because I have more time to do so. My plan at the moment is to finish this up and then hop on in, like I said, to Kunitsugami, Path of the Goddess. That's the new Capcom game that just came out on Friday. I was going to play it before this episode, but I haven't finished Shin Megami Tensei because I'm a bad gamer.
Oh, well.
So, what have you been playing, good gamer?
Me? The good gamer? I think you're a good gamer. I think I'm the bad gamer because all I do is play games that I've already played.
That doesn't make you a bad gamer. That makes you a predictable gamer.
That's true. I have been still playing Elden Ring. I'm a good chunk into the game now. Feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty overconfident because I accidentally overleveled for the area that I'm in. I'm also playing Dragon Age 2, so I'm trying to still have my Dragon Age summer whilst getting to the Elden Ring DLC eventually.
At your pace, can you finish the whole Dragon Age saga this summer still?
See, the problem is with Inquisition, it's really, there's a lot going on. It's not even necessarily that it's a long game, but if I wanted to be like completionist, which I do sort of feel like I like to be completionist with that game, even though a lot of it is just like random stuff that has no impact whatsoever. It's a lot of like do nothing fetch quests. I don't know. It depends. Do I think I'll be done by the summer? No. Do I think I'll be done by September? Probably.
That's summer.
Like
September 22nd is fall.
Well, I don't know if I'll be done by September 22nd. The only fear that I really have is that I won't be done before Veilguard comes out.
Oh.
But
oh my god, I just did that.
I know.
That was not a joke. I can't believe I just said that.
It was a better name. It's not your fault. But I also am sort of a mind that this playthrough that I'm doing right now is kind of just for fun and to brush up on lore stuff. I have like an actual like canon playthrough that I finished like a year ago.
So will that data carry over?
No.
Is it like Mass Effect?
No, I think
Veilguard's a fresh start.
I think what the developers explained is that the beginning of Veilguard will have like a big choice sort of screen. Like at the beginning of Mass Effect 2, there was like a comic that you could go through where you could pick the big choices that Shepard made. I think
you didn't play one, you mean?
Right.
Okay.
So I think it will be similar to this because the data just won't carry over anymore. I mean, the data wouldn't carry over from 2 to Inquisition, so there's just no way. But yeah, so they did just release the voice cast today for the main party, which is exciting. I will tell you, I was particularly excited because one of the companions is named Emmerich, and he's like a necromancer, and he has a little skeleton companion. And you know, his name is Manfred, the skeleton, and you know who's going to be voiced by? Is Matthew Mercer. So
I was going to guess that because I know you and Matthew Mercer. Well, you just have a special adoration for him.
He's just so connected to so many things that I love. He's Crom. I mean, Crom was like once in a lifetime.
I'm gonna be honest. That's such a specific. That's such a you pick.
It's kind of a deep cut because back then he wasn't really as big as he definitely wasn't as big as he is now. And Crom was kind of, in my opinion, it felt like his first big role, and now he's like the voice actor. Versus,
I feel like he used to almost be like the Troy Baker stand-in for a while.
Yeah, and now,
which is like now in retrospect, I'm like that is so disrespectful to him.
I know because we don't have to get into it, but I
think they're both incredibly talented actors, despite any personality traits.
Yes, but I feel very connected to Matt Mercer because I'm a big fan of Critical Role, and I'm a fan of him and his work. So that'll be fun to have him be like a little skeleton manservant. I think that's an interesting role for him.
That's a fun role for him.
Yeah, and there's some other voice actors that I'm excited about. You know, they talked about the main characters' voice actors, which is exciting. There's some other Critical Role alum on the cast, which is cool. And trying to think. Obviously, the voice actors from previous games are returning. So that was a fun bit of news today. And I'm excited to, like, I think the San Diego, they're like a special guest. The Dragon Age team is like a special guest at the San Diego Comic-Con, which is happening this week. So we might have more information or news or something. I don't think we'll have a release date quite yet. That might not be until Gamescom, but
which is soon.
But it would be cool if we did. I mean, Gamescom is so soon, they might as well just do it now. But they probably won't.
I don't think that's how that works.
Well, if you had I think it would be cool if they were at Gamescom and they were like, the game is coming out in a month. That would be crazy. Do I think that's what's going to happen? No. I think that's optimistic. I think I'm leaning more towards October now. Or November, I guess. But I'm actually leaning more towards October. I feel like that just feels right for me.
I have my fingers crossed for you that it's actually out tomorrow.
That would be... see, I wouldn't want that. Here's what would be really great, actually, is if it came out next week. Late next week. Or no, I'm sorry. Not next week. The week after, because I'm on vacation. So that would be perfect.
As in you're off work? You're not on vacation?
Correct. I'm off work. I'm not actually.
I was going to say, going somewhere while it's out would probably hurt you so deeply.
I have a bachelorette party, which will occupy a lot of my weekend. And then I have a concert a couple days later. But there's like a span of like 2 or 3 days where I have really nothing going on and I'm off work. So that would be great. BioWare, if you want to make my day, I'm just saying.
I don't think that's how game development exactly works, but I do appreciate the sentiment.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's fine. I mean, I don't mind not knowing the release date. It would be really awesome to know. So, I could take time off work if need be. But it would be really awesome to know now.
It feels like it's because they're waiting so they can do as fast a turnaround as possible.
Yeah.
In a marketing cycle.
And I think here's what I think is interesting about the marketing cycle right now is because Game Informer did that huge cover story feature. And then they had a bunch of little tiny articles that came out in the week since. And today, the last of that series of articles came out. And the San Diego Comic-Con is this week. So it does feel like there's something that's going to be happening this week. There's a panel with like the VAs going on tomorrow or Wednesday, I think. So that might brook some information. But
do you think you also might have a skewed perspective because you spent years waiting for any amount of information? So now it feels like every information must be the biggest piece of information, even though this is just like a regular cycle for a game that's really soon anyway.
Yeah, I don't know because it's weird because I feel like the marketing for this game has been really odd. They announced the game like, I don't even know, 4 or 5 years ago. And then they teased it 4 years ago. And then they teased it again like 2 years ago. And then they finally came out with the title last summer.
Just to change it.
And then they changed it right before they did this gameplay reveal, or they did the trailer, and then they did the gameplay reveal, and then they did this Game Informer article, which like, and all the little Game Informer articles that come after it aren't really anything new or groundbreaking. It's just stuff that kind of we already knew. So it's just weird. I mean, I feel like the marketing has been really weird for this game.
I think that right now they're marketing to you, to people like you. Like it feels to me like they're marketing to the people who are on board but like want to hear more. And I think maybe once we have that release date, it'll be a more generalized marketing. Besides the reveal felt generalized.
Yeah.
But I feel like all of the little stuff, the stuff you're talking about, like those articles, the Game Informer stuff, that to me feels like that's aimed at at you, people who like you, who really are in and want to know everything they can. And then probably, let's just say after Gamescom, let's pretend that's when they're announcing the release date. After that, maybe that's when they do a more general push to get it in the hands of people who are on the fence or people who don't know as much about Dragon Age, new players, basically.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's my presumption. So
that makes sense to me.
Can I talk about one more game thing that's not a video game?
Yes.
But it's related?
Yes.
You know Amiibos?
Yes.
I have them.
Yes.
Fans of the show, longtime listeners will know that I like Amiibos. They're the little Nintendo figures. I love them. I've been collecting them since, this terrifies me, November of 2014 when they were first released. So about to be 10 years. At the time, I was a child, legally, so I didn't have a lot of expendable income. And then when I was in college, I didn't have a lot of expendable income. So I was picky. I was really picky about the amiibo that I acquired. And then as I grew into post-college adulthood and had some income, I started basically getting every single one I wanted as they came out. I didn't have to pick and choose anymore, which granted, they slowed down a lot after college. But there were about like 30 to 40 that I never did get, like ones that I missed, and they were just not available anymore. They were expensive on eBay, all this kind of stuff, because I didn't have the money at the time, but I wanted them. There were figures that I wanted to have, I just missed. And so I made it a mission of mine probably 6 months ago. I was like, you know what? I'm going to start stocking up. It would have been in February, because right after I started my new position at the time, I wanted to start using some of that new expendable income to getting the things that I missed. I still wanted to be smart and frugal, so I tried. I was basically successful. I was like, I will not pay more than $20 for any of these. 17 is the retail price of an amiibo. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to try my best to pay 17 or less for all of these. So I was really picky. There were some of them that were just cheap. There were like the Animal Crossing ones were just cheap. There's a few other ones that basically just like, they just fell a little short of 17. So I was able to pick up. I got pretty lucky because I decided to do this, and then Nintendo had been doing some occasional restocks. So some of the really rare ones like Piranha Plant, which is funny, King K. Rool, and Pokemon Trainer, those were 3 that were like all $70 on eBay basically. And I'm like, well, I'm not doing that. So my options were really severely limited, and I decided, I was like, okay, I'll just keep an eye on like eBay, like bidding. Maybe if it's going to be a really long time, I'll just like wait till I go to Japan someday and pick them up, because they are cheap there. Like you could just buy amiibos in Japan, which is crazy. But I got lucky because those 3 got restocked on the Nintendo store, so I was able to pick those up for retail price. Long story short, spent about 6 months, and this past week I hit order on my last one. So it's not here yet, because that one is getting shipped from Japan. So that one will be here for a few weeks, which kind of stinks, because I like made gaps on my amiibo shelf for the new ones that I was getting. So I could just like, when I get them, I just pop them in. Mm-hmm. So now I have like a perfectly filled, really dense amiibo shelf with one gap. And I'm like, I'm not going to like spread it out. I'll wait, but it's funny. Including that one I don't have, I now have 128 amiibos. They didn't all fit, so I had to, my video game shelf downstairs, 2 of those shelves are now designated just for amiibos, in addition to the full amiibo shelf upstairs. I'm an addict. It's fine. But yeah, I completed my collection. It does not include everything by any stretch. I have like about 2/3 or 70% of the Smash line, because there's like almost 100 Super Smash Brothers amiibos. And then, so that's like, I have like 70 Smash amiibos or 65 or something. And then the rest of them are all different things. So I have like some Pikmin ones. I have Metroid ones. I'm not going to go through the list because there's 128 of them. That's ridiculous. But anyway, it's just been a very fun experience for me. It's kind of like one of those video game culture things that I've been tangential on for, I guess I've not really been tangential on. I've been in on it for 10 years. I was there day one. I bought an amiibo the day they were announced, or day they were released. I mean, my first amiibo, I believe I got a Samus, because on the day that Super Smash Bros. For Wii U came out, they released Samus, Wii Fit Trainer, Villager, Marth, Mario, Pikachu, maybe Kirby. I got Mario and Samus. Now I have most of those. But that day I bought Mario and Samus, so I had those on the first day. And then I was just, there was that amiibo craze where everything was hard to get and they were really low stock. And I just got in on the craze. I'm like, I need it all. I need all of them. So I would buy every amiibo I could. So I have a couple ones that I'm like, I probably wouldn't buy this today. I was just like all in on the craze. But I don't regret having them. I do think that there's a story attached to them, so it's well worth having. And then, like I said, it became hard to buy all of them. So I kind of slowed down a bit. And then, it's been really nice. It's, one of those things. It's kind of like, I'm an adult. They're not really releasing amiibos anymore. They still make them occasionally. They had like the Tears of the Kingdom ones and then those Xenoblade ones, but there's not a lot of them. And it feels kind of nice, like my journey has, in a sense, come to an end. I'm sure I'll buy more in the future, either if I see like a cheap one that I don't have at a convention, or if like when they do release new ones at some point, I would happily hop on that train again. But at this stage, it's just nice to have that thing from my youth kind of come to fruition now that I'm old.
Wow. Grandpa.
I would have been 17 when I started that. I'm 26 now.
That's crazy.
I say they didn't release all of the ones I have now that day. Like, it took years. The newest one I bought came out a couple months ago. I think the last released one I got was Sora, which came out in February.
Yeah.
So, and like they just announced new Splatoon ones the other day, and I'm like, oh, new amiibos. I'm like, I don't even want them. But I'm just like, oh, the idea of getting new amiibos. Yeah, it just feels nice to like think about buying new amiibos, but anyway, that it's just a journey I wanted to share. It's been very fun to like slowly, like to pry through the internet to find deals that are reasonable on all those amiibo, because it's not been easy. And then I also calculated how much. I'm not going to say it on the podcast, but I calculated how much it was worth. So if I get into a horrible accident, I know how much I can get for all of them. No, I plan on being buried with these amiibo. I made a joke. I'm like, I'm gonna get a glass fronted coffin, and they're just gonna be all like in resin in there. So I'm just being buried with all of my amiibo as my coffin. I just think that's a fun idea.
I like that, but it's a little bit dark and a little bit morbid.
I think it's a little bit, the idea of somebody well, it's not gonna happen tomorrow. It's gonna happen in like hopefully at least like 5 years.
Oh.
Just let me get to 30. Let me get to Kingdom Hearts 4.
Right.
But it is a funny idea to get buried with my hundreds of amiibos. I mean, at that point, it might be like 300 amiibo. Who knows?
We'll have to build you a whole pyramid.
We'll build a mausoleum.
Yes.
That I will do, and I'll just be like in there, like embalmed or something, so that people can look at me.
Yes.
Still, because I'm gonna be so famous, you know.
Right.
Because I'm gonna be present. Wait, no. Oh crap. Because I'm cool. I cut it out. Don't worry, Kelly.
Right.
And I'll be surrounded by my amiibo.
Yes.
What do you think the plural is?
Amoebae.
Oh, wow.
Amoebae.
I'm amoebae. Anyway.
Amoebies. Hey, everybody. Thanks so much. Oh. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Talking Games with Kellie and Andrew. I hope you... Oh, my God. Oh, I think that was the cleric beast. So I have to go continue my bloody hunt.
You have to go slay him.
I hope you have a great... I have to seek pale blood to transcend the hunt. So anyway, thanks so much for listening, everybody. I hope you have a great day and weeks and month and year, and we will see you in 2 weeks, unless something crazy happens. Okay, bye.